of the North Coast Highway between Trelawney St. Anne Border and the UWI Marine Lab. Our newsroom was told that one of those killed is a taxi driver from Old Folly in Discovery Bay. However, police have not yet given details of the identities of those killed. Police say the fatal collision occurred about 11:20 this morning along the Queens Highway, about 200 meters west of the UWI Marine
Hi,
Lab.
I'm
A
Janine.
white
And I'm Kalisha. And we are the Chryso Praises. You're listening to NRP Media and Radio. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Good evening. Welcome now to the news right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. The police are giving more details of the crash near Discovery Bay in Ghana that killed three people on Wednesday morning, July 23. Two women and one man were killed in the crash on the Queens Highway, a section of the North Coast Highway between Trelawney St. Anne Border and the UWI Marine Lab. Our newsroom was told that one of those killed is a taxi driver from Old Folly in Discovery Bay. However, police have not yet given details of the identities of those killed. Police say the fatal collision occurred about 11:20 this morning along the Queens Highway, about 200 meters west of the UWI Marine Lab. A white 2014 Honda Step Wagon motor car and a white 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander were the cars involved. According to reports, about 11:20, the Honda Step Wagon was traveling east along Queens Highway or heading toward Discovery Bay direction when on reaching a section of the roadway 200 meters west of the Marine Lab, the driver of the Mitsubishi Outlander motor car that was traveling west towards Falmouth direction lost control of the vehicle. The vehicle went over to the right side of the road. It collided head-on into the Honda Step Wagon motor car heading in the opposite direction, resulting in an intensive damage to both vehicles and serious injuries to both drivers and passengers. In other news from the police, 26-year-old Jovane Hines, otherwise called Pooh, labor of Hertford, Whithorn, Westmoreland, has been charged with murder, 2 counts, following a double murder in Moras District, Hertford, in the parish on Friday, November 22, 2024. Dead are 22-year-old Javon Locke, otherwise called Lucky, of Moras District, Hertford, and the 36-year-old Kemar Lawson, otherwise called Chargy, of Hertford District, both in Westmoreland. Reports from the Whithorn police are that about 1:25 p.m., the two men were inside their house when they were pounced upon by three men who brandished firearms and opened gunfire, hitting them. Citizens heard the explosions and summoned the police. On the police arrival, Locke and Lawson were found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to their upper body. They were transported to hospital, where they were pronounced dead on arrival. On Tuesday, July 22, at about 5 a.m., Hines was arrested by the police during an operation and subsequently charged based on eyewitness statement. Hines' accomplices are still being sought by the police. A court date is being finalized. And sleuths assigned to the Kingston Eastern Police Division have charged a teen boy of Cumberland Avenue, Kingston, with possession of a prohibited weapon, possession of a prohibited weapon with intent to harm, assault occasioning bodily harm, following an incident on Somerset Avenue in the parish on Saturday, March 22. Police reports indicate that about 4:25 p.m., the teen boy, along with a group of men, one of whom was armed with a firearm, approached a man with whom they had a previous dispute. The group and the teen got into a physical altercation with the man, during which they punched and kicked him. The man sustained multiple bruises and swellings all over his body. A report was subsequently made to the police by the complainant. On Tuesday, July 22, the teen boy was positively identified by the complainant during an identification parade, and he was later charged. The court date is being finalized. The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information has approved leave for over 2,000 teachers for the 2025-2026 academic year, reflecting its continued commitment to workforce well-being, professional development, and effective school management. The approval follows a thorough review of 2,860 applications for various categories of leave. There is a decline in the number of applicants when compared to 2022-2023 and 2024-2025 academic years, where 2,978 and 3,197 teachers applied for leave, respectively. According to the ministry, a total of 2,026 teachers have been approved across four categories of leave. The estimated cost of the approved leave is Jamaica $7.87 billion, which includes both direct leave payments and the cost of temporary staff replacements to ensure continuity of instruction in schools. The approved leave categories are as follows. 4 months vacation leave, 834 teachers having received that. 8 months vacation leave, 907 teachers. Study leave, 71 teachers. And leave prior to retirement, 123 teachers. In a special consideration, the minister says an additional 91 teachers were approved for 8 months vacation leave despite exceeding the 10% statutory quota. This exception was made to facilitate all teachers who were at the maximum of their leave entitlement, and the denial have negatively affected future entitlements had they not proceeded on leave this academic year. Additionally, 6 non-academic staff members across the 3 regions have been granted study leave at an estimated cost of $17.7 million. And finally, the People's National Party has extended heartfelt congratulations to Andre Russell on the occasion of his final international cricket match played last evening at Sabina Park, his home ground and the spiritual heart of Jamaican cricket. Shadow Minister of Sports Wavell Hines praised Russell's stellar contributions to the game and to the pride of Jamaica and the West Indies on behalf of the opposition and sports-loving Jamaicans everywhere. He congratulated Andre Russell on an extraordinary international career and indicated that he has represented Jamaica and the West Indies with pride, power, and passion. According to Mr. Hines, his name will forever be etched among the greats of Caribbean cricket. Russell, who made his international debut in 2010, leaves the West Indies side as a 2-time T20 World Cup champion and one of the most feared and dynamic all-rounders in the modern game. His final appearance last evening marked the end of an era that saw him thrilling fans across the globe with breathtaking sixes, crucial wickets, and game-changing performances. That's news right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. My name is Leon Nash. Good evening. Stand by now for the JIS feature.
Hi, I'm Genevieve.
And I'm Kalisha. And we are the Chryso Praises. You're listening to NRP Media and Radio. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
You're now invited to listen to the latest JIS program aired in time allowed right here on nrpmediaja.com for government broadcasts.
I'm Anjui James Sawyers with the JIS Evening News for Wednesday, July 23. Coming up, Education Transformation Oversight Committee reporting a 30% implementation progress rate. 29 fishers receive pelagic fishing training from NFA, and TPDCO opens new office in Black River. The news in detail after the break.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Come out to the Manchester Biz Show on July 24 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Sacred Heart Academy Preparatory School. Join the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank for a day of support, networking, knowledge sharing, and practical solutions in sustainable agriculture, agro-processing, and agri-tech. Plus, win up to $400,000 in business cash grants, other prizes, and surprises. Register now at roadshow.mic.gov.jm. See you there.
Now the news. The Education Transformation Oversight Committee ETOC is reporting an overall implementation progress rate of 30% for the April to June reporting period of implementing the recommendations of the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission JETC. This represents a 7% increase over the previous reporting period. Speaking at the committee's quarterly press briefing earlier today, ETOC Chairman Dr. Adrian Stokes disclosed that work has begun on all pillars, with all initiated endeavors progressing as planned. Overall, 17 initiatives have so far been completed, 2 of which were finalized in this reporting period.
I've received an initial set of recommendations from the Mona School of Business on measures to transform the ministry. The next step involves consultation with critical stakeholders before we provide feedback to the Mona School as they finalize their recommendations. The transformation of education in Jamaica cannot truly happen until the ministry overseeing the sector is globally competitive in its administration and policy development.
ETOC Chairman Dr. Adrian Stokes. 29 fishers from Billy's Bay in St. Elizabeth have received certificates of participation after successfully completing pelagic fishing training spearheaded by the National Fisheries Authority NFA and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. The training equipped the fishers to respond to declining nearshore fish stocks and strengthen climate resilience in their communities using artisanal longline fishing techniques and fish aggregating devices FADs.
But in order to progress go further out, for people who never used to do it before, we have to train you in the type of methods that you will use further out to catch the different species that you will like furthermore.
Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, speaking at the Pelagic Sub-Project Certificate Handover and Awards ceremony in St. Elizabeth recently. Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, Xavier Main, has welcomed the breaking of ground for the start of rehabilitation work on the John Reed to Battersea Road in St. Anne. He said the project, which will involve drainage and paving works, will benefit residents in several adjoining communities. Speaking at the recent groundbreaking ceremony, Mr. Main, who is also the Member of Parliament for St. Anne Southwestern, expressed gratitude to Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Robert Morgan, for addressing the urgent need for repairs on the critical stretch of road. He highlighted the importance of the road for farmers and residents who rely on it for economic activities and to access essential services. And the tourism product development company TPDCO has officially opened a new office in Black River, St. Elizabeth as part of efforts to strengthen community-based tourism along Jamaica's south coast. The office, centrally located in the parish capital, is expected to facilitate key initiatives, including licensing, community tourism development, and continued support for South Coast streetscape improvement projects. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett described the move as a strategic decision that will enable TPDCO to better serve local stakeholders and advance tourism development in the parish.
The effort to open this office is not simply to have a building looking nice in Black River, but it's an opportunity for you to now learn more, grow more, expand more, earn more, and to be able to like the many tourists that keep coming to Jamaica, recognize the value of this wonderful place that you have, and in all you're doing.
Mr. Bartlett says the new location allows the agency to respond faster to the needs of stakeholders along the South Coast. That was JIS News. I'm Anjui James Sawyers.
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has been on a drive to modernize its fleet, with 93 of the second 100 buses procured being recently added to the fleet. The government had committed to securing 300 buses over a 3-year period, with the final 100 due in 2026. Stay tuned for the details. With a more modernized and expanded JUTC bus fleet, commuters are now enjoying reduced wait times and improved service. This even as the company enhances its operational efficiency and minimize environmental impacts. Transport Minister Darrell Voss has indicated that the addition of the buses valued at $2.35 billion will bring significant improvement to public transportation.
We are not just adding buses, we are restoring trust, rebuilding systems, and reaffirming our duty to serve. As the MSET hands over 93 new buses, 63 compressed natural gas, and 30 diesel coach.
An additional 7 buses are being specially manufactured for the disabled community and will arrive in the island in August. Mr. Voss highlighted the fuel savings realized by the JUTC as a result of shifting to cleaner energy technology.
Of the buses deployed daily, the JUTC operates 110 CNG buses, 6 battery electric buses, and 1 range extender electric vehicle. This means 53.6% of JUTC's operable fleet now run on cleaner, lower emission technologies. This shift, which began in earnest in September 24, has yielded significant cost savings and environmental benefits, lowering carbon emissions in alignment with Jamaica's broader sustainable goals. The average monthly fuel cost per diesel bus is $1 million, compared to 350,000 Jamaican dollars per CNG bus. That's a savings of 650,000 Jamaican dollars per bus.
Meantime, arising from the latest JUTC fleet expansion, a new rural express service will be introduced. The service will offer premium travel on long-haul direct routes, operating from Halfway Tree in Kingston to Negril, Montego Bay, Ocherius, Port Antonio, and Mandeville with minimal stops. According to the Transport Minister, 15 of the 30 new diesel buses will be dedicated to the service, which will attract an introductory fare of $2,000.
The remaining 15 buses will support the demand for charter services, offering flexible, reliable options for institutions, organizations, for events. The JUTC is also expanding routes out of Spanish Town with new services to Linstead via the highway, Spanish Town to Kidston Town, and extending JUTC's reach, while the 70 CNG buses will be deployed along new routes across Spanish Town Depot Corridor.
Transport Minister Darrell Voss. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness credited strategic and long-term planning for the government being able to procure the 93 new JUTC buses. He said the purchase of the buses followed a 4-year process that included problem assessments, investment appraisals, and an open international tender.
We worked out a system that we would transition from heavy fuel oil buses, diesel buses, into LNG, and we even tested some electric buses. And then came the important thing. How can we fund it? None of these buses that you're seeing here are being funded by borrowing.
Dr. Holness emphasized that the investments in public transportation are also tied to national productivity.
So the investment in new buses and in trying to create a world-class transportation system, it's about setting the framework for growth for everyone. The investment in public transportation is about making our economy more efficient so that everyone who has to use public transportation can be more productive in their personal or work endeavors.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. That's it for today's feature. Thanks for listening. I'm Cheryl Johnson Hamilton.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Boundary surveying is very important in establishing clear property ownership and preventing disputes. The process involves precisely locating and marking the boundaries of a parcel of land. Wainworth Hamilton, Senior Director of Surveys and Mapping at the National Land Agency, recently joined Theodore Henry, host of JIS TV's Get the Facts program, to explain the intricacies involved in boundary surveying. Here's an excerpt from their interview.
Can you explain to us what exactly is a boundary survey? A boundary or cadastral survey is a survey undertaken to define, to describe, or to redescribe property boundaries. which essentially feeds into the final delivery of a pre-checked plan, which is a plan checked and certified by the NLA.
Okay. So, and in relation to a land title, if there is no proper understanding of the boundaries of the land, then how you can get a title for it?
Right. So the approved diagram is one of the supporting documents for an application for title. It really outlines the extent of possession or interest, so the registration professionals can understand what is the extent of the ownership we're trying to enshrine or document.
Right, right. And of course, that would be in relation to other land around it as well, because other people usually have stuff around.
Adjoining lands.
Right. Got it. So if I do a boundary survey, that's not me getting the title for the land, is it?
No, land titling is a separate item from cadastral survey. So boundary surveys really feed into the registration process. The parcel is described mathematically and graphically, and the registration, which is surveying,
right,
and the registration process is really documenting and enshrining the rights of persons within the confines of those boundaries.
Right. We said legal clarity.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, so tell me, how long is a boundary survey valid for?
Well, the boundary survey is valid for 7 years. The limitations of actions articulates that over 7 years, the commission survey is required to complete a declaration, which is really a statement under oath that I have checked and certified that the boundaries on ground are as described on the diagram.
Right.
If there's any deviation, then a new diagram has to be prepared and enters the checking and certification process all over again.
So let me see if I get this clear. I've done a boundary survey for this parcel of land. When 7 years pass, if I am to do anything with that boundary survey, anything that requires a survey, I can use that old 7-year one without the declaration.
Without the declaration, no.
Saying that the boundaries are the same.
Right.
And I have seen, Sir Hamilton, a lot of those boundary markers, some little piece of iron sometimes. Easy to get lost, easy to be moved. So you're saying if the boundary survey is, if we do that check to see where the boundary markers are and they have moved, we can't just update the survey. It has to be done from scratch.
There has to be that survey diagram that you have now is not any longer representing the marks on the ground.
Yeah.
Because of the changes.
Got it.
So you need a new diagram now to be consistent with what is on the ground.
Got it. All right, help me out with some differences here again now. Surveyor's report, boundary survey.
All right, so the surveyor's report is really a comparative analysis. You're comparing what is documented. Let us say you have a title.
Right.
You are checking on ground if the conditions on ground match what is on the title. So there are restrictive covenants outlining the terms and conditions under which you enjoy or use this property.
Restrictive covenants.
Right. So there are some rules under which you own. So it's not absolute ownership. There are rules under which you own.
All right.
You can't build to certain distance to boundaries, front boundaries, side boundaries. Those are all articulated on your certificate of title. The use of the property, what is it to be used for? And the surveyor will check, in the case of a surveyor's report, if your usage, the terms and conditions, the measurements of boundaries, all that is enshrined on the title is on ground the same. If not, the deviations are to be stated.
Wainworth Hamilton, Senior Director of Surveys and Mapping at the National Land Agency, speaking with host Theodore Henry on JIS TV's Get the Facts program. Catch the full interview on our YouTube page at Jamaica Information Service. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
This is a great Posey Lister classic. It lives and it deserves to live. Listen.
In the dark of the midnight, have I hid my face, while the storms howl above me, and there's no hiding place. Near the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry, keep me safe till the storm passes by.